glad to have you with us. We're from thefatherofhollywood.com. We are the relatives of the founders, patriarchs of Hollywood, H.J. and G.G. Whitley. And we would like to share some historical documents with you that the families kept. And we're going to tell you about their adventure, kind of.
Right, yeah,
right.
It was a whirlwind adventure.
Yeah, they
were all over the world.
Right, they're kind of, we're going to give you little segments. This is our first segment. We figured the best way to start off is about the naming of Hollywood and the purchase of Hollywood.
Yeah, they had a long life, and they saw a lot of people, and they dealt with a lot of people.
So we're going to start off with the naming of Hollywood, and to do that, we're going to skip to Gigi, who was really named Margaret Virginia Whitley, or Margaret Ross. Yeah, her maiden name was Ross, and this is from her journal, her personal journal about the naming of Hollywood. A long, narrow road with a rattling, loud noise sound, and the it's hard for me to read. The voice of a Chinese man singing in his language was soon in sight. He seemed startled and surprised as he spied the two fine strangers standing there, but they smiled at him, and he came near, and he stopped his horse as the gentleman said to him, "What are you doing, John?" "Hollywood," he replied, what it would have been a Chinese accent, which I don't exactly have. And the gentleman said, "Hollywood," the stranger repeated, and the Chinese man drove on, wondering what the stranger meant as he arrived at the foot of the hill, and looking back, saw the stranger still standing there talking in a strange, excited way, for that one word had inspired the great developer to explain to his bride, they were married in 1886, who was also there and puzzling now. He said, "Dear, I know what we're going to name this town. I'm going to build right here among these beautiful hills. And I'm going over to Weed Canyon right now to see Mr. Weed, my friend, and tell him all about it." Well, and if you look up the history, you will find that Mr. Weed owned a big portion of property right next to where H.J. Whitley ended up purchasing this. And so he went and told Mr. Weed, "I want this property. Can you help me meet with the man who I could purchase this from? And I'm going to name it Hollywood."
And he bought it from E.C. Hurd.
Right, he bought it from E.C. Hurd. And the significant part, really, I think, is why would he choose Hollywood? I mean, this Chinese gentleman was hauling wood, firewood, in a wagon, but
right.
What was the significance of Hollywood?
Well, he had an epiphany at the moment, and right. He's going, "Whoa, that's an elegant name, Hollywood." And it's just like, sometimes you hear things and it kind of relates to something else. Well, that's why he liked the name. And a lot of people obviously did, because they all jumped on that bandwagon with him. And he went and saw Mr. Hurd.
Right, and the significance of the Hollywood was he was British from England, his family was, and Holly was a symbol of England. Right. And Wood, he was also Scottish. He was in line to be the Earl of Annandale, his family.
Right.
And so he named it for the forest of Scotland, so Hollywood. That's how it came up, and it was just by...
And he loved the name.
He loved the name, and everybody named the name. He told the name to Mr. Weed, and Mr. Weed told it to... Because the reason why they were all excited was H.J. Whitley was built over 100 towns.
100 towns.
Before that.
He built local towns later on. He built Corcoran. He also built Van Nuys, Reseda, and Conecuh Park. Right. So he wasn't just a flash in the pan.
Right.
He knew the movers and shakers of Los Angeles.
Right, so we'll show you the land he bought. Here's a map that the family has.
Yeah, the 480 acres.
Right, and it's kind of interesting if you look at the circle, kind of over in the left hand, there's kind of a circle there. It's called Whitley Hill. And
Whitley
tell
Hill,
them
which
about that.
it's people really don't know it as Whitley Hills today, but it's Whitley Heights to the right of Highland Boulevard. But Whitley Hill, it was where, if you ever ate at the restaurant called Yamashura's, it's a Japanese restaurant up on the hill, has a panoramic view, a view that really is spectacular. You know, everybody needs to go up there and have some sushi. And also, I heard recently they really how that house came about was that H.J. Whitley sold it to the brothers. I forget the name of the brothers right now, but the brothers loved the architecture of Japan, and they had architects and also Japanese workers come from Japan and build that house. So it's a really authentic building in Hollywood, built by Japanese labor, I guess you say, employees or developers for these brothers.
Right, and then down below it, it's kind of
Oh
exciting.
yeah, that's on Franklin Boulevard. Right below that is a really like an old, really beautiful house in where the Magic Castle is.
Right,
Which where everybody knows that's where you go and have a comedy
magic show.
Magic shows, yeah.
Right, and then down below it along Hollywood Boulevard and Hollywood Boulevard, in Franklin, where it is, we have the Chinese Theater, and we have
Highland. And Highland.
No, Highland runs up, but Hollywood Boulevard,
which was Prospect.
Yeah, and Highland, I guess, is where the Chinese Theater is and where the Academy Awards are today.
Right.
And if we look at another picture, another map, we see the next afternoon H.J. Whitley agreed to purchase 400 acres, La Brea to Cahuenga, with the center being Hollywood Boulevard and Highland, from E.C. Hurd for $22,000 gold. They sealed the deal in 1886 with a handshake. The map shows the land that was purchased. And if you saw on the map before, there was an area cut out, and that's where the Whitley estate is, and there's a picture of it, the house.
That. Also, both these pictures are, this one right here is a real estate flyer. The other one was made for the Los Angeles Pacific Boulevard and Development Company. Yeah, and there you can see there H.J. Whitley, M.H. Sherman, which was the railroad magnate, and then there was Mr. R. Reinig, and Mr. Glass, and Mr. Keith, Thomas Keith. Whoa! I was always impressed with that because my last name is Keith.
Right. So this is our first, I guess, historical filming, and we just wanted to show you how it was named, what he bought. The exciting reason why he's the father of Hollywood was on October 26, 1911. He invited the Horsley brothers and Al Christie to come film on this piece of property. We'll go back to it, kind of show you the one right here. The house had a beautiful garden, and everything was filmed outside because at the time it was all silent movies.
Right. And
so they filmed out there, and he convinced them that they could rent the Blondeau Tavern, and the rest is history. They came to Hollywood,
and it was the Nestor Studios in Al Christie.
Right, and the reason
they became Universal Studios today.
Right, and the reason why it's so amazing, people go, well, why would that happen? Well, because he started 100 towns prior to this.
Right.
He knew you had to have a viable industry to give jobs to the people.
Right.
And at the time,
he wasn't a flash in the pan businessman. He wanted to develop and give. He was an honest man that wanted to do good for society.
Right, and the thing that he also happened before 1911, what happened is he and 5 other business partners bought 48,000 acres of the San Fernando Valley.
Right, and he built Van Nuys, Reseda, and Canoga Park. Before that, he built the town of Corcoran.
Right, but the significance of the San Fernando Valley was he wanted to build it up, and he needed a place for workers to have an industry. So Hollywood became the perfect place. He had the movie stars, the directors, and the
Yeah.
higher up echelon, and then the filmers, the script writers could live.
Yeah, it was all
in
in
the
a learning curve at that time.
San Fernando Valley. And the reason we decided to start filming right now is this year will be the 100th year for the Hollywoodland sign.
Right.
And he also was instrumental
Right.
in that. I think we've talked to an author who's writing a book about the sign, and he had actually the first electric sign before the Hollywoodland sign, and we'll tell you more about that
HJ
later.
did.
Yeah.
It was called Whitley Heights.
Right, and we'll be showing pictures of that. We're just going to give you little clips here and there.
Yeah, because the family archives is pretty vast.
Right,
really.
you can see back there's a picture of some more stuff, and we have lots of books, and we have boxes and
We have
boxes
cases and cases and pictures
of things
and pictures.
we've saved and about the history
Some
of
of them's
Hollywood.
never been shown.
Right, the history of Hollywood. So we're going to probably start a YouTube channel called The Father of Hollywood or Father of Hollywood. We do have a website, The Father of Hollywood. We'll probably put some stuff on just different things like Twitter and Facebook and all the different things, Rumble and YouTube and anywhere we can. And we hope you share about it and about him and why he's significant, when what his dream was for Hollywood as opposed to possibly where it's gone. So we'll talk to you again.
And one of his the quotes of H.J. Whitley was,
My favorite one
right.
is, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right. Be
right.
the one who thinks
H.J.
you
Whitley
can.
coined that. And also something, maybe I'm jumping way ahead, but somebody said, they said, because the property that he bought, the 480 acres in Hollywood, was nothing but citrus groves. Lemons.
Lemons.
And they said, well, H.J. Whitley, you give him a bag of lemons and he makes lemonade.
And that's who it was coined after.
That was where it was coined after. H.J. Whitley made lemonade. I made lemons into lemonade in Hollywood.
Right, because he took a town that was nothing and made it Hollywood.
There was
pretty amazing.
how many houses were in Hollywood?
I think she wrote in one of her journals that they went up to like where Whitley Heights is. It's kind of at the top of the hill, and they were on their own property, and they were looking down, and she counted 17 farms she could see when they
17
arrived.
farms, and that was beyond his property or his future property if
Right.
it wasn't his then. But it was not a town. It was called Cahuenga at the time.
Well, it was a town, but it was
It wasn't much of anything. It was
right.
like
It was
one
just
horse
beginning.
town.
Right. So anyway, we're glad to share this news and information with you. We think it's exciting. We can share some of his business insights, what drove him to do what he did, and how he always wanted the best for everybody and the best for the country, and everybody united and happy together.
And
he was an amazing man.
He didn't foreclose on anybody when they didn't pay their bills.
He worked with them.
I
wouldn't say
never did, but
as far as we know,
he was very reluctant
he gave
to
people
do it.
time.
He tried to make a way.
Right, I think maybe It's a Wonderful Life. The good banker was more like him.
Jimmy Stewart.
He portrayed.
He was kind of like H.J. Whitley.
Yeah, he was a kind and cared about the people. Anyway, we've talked enough for today, and we'll be back with you as we can and pull out more historic pictures and let you see them. And have a great day.